Hello everyone. In this video, I will be covering Salesforce Einstein Intent API. It's a general purpose natural language classifier, can be used for routing billing inquiries to right customer departments, case lead routing, or a variety of different similar scenarios. Overview: Einstein Platform Services comprises of Einstein Vision and Einstein Language. Within Einstein Language, we are primarily focusing on Einstein Intent API today, which is general purpose natural language classifier. The way you do the setup is there's a one-time setup step where you need to sign up for the Einstein, then you need to download the RSA token, RSA key. I have already gone through this step. Then you need to basically per API call pass a token. This is a general purpose URL that Einstein provides. You can access this, upload your key and get a temporary token. We are going to use the API mostly, so we will use some sort of a coding mechanism for getting this token. So this covers the high-level platform services, an overview of it. In terms of the specific scenario that we are going to cover today, we have a case routing data. I'm using an existing Einstein sample from Salesforce. There are a lot of different data elements that shows the intents of the customer and then how the intents are categorized into different departments or different areas where we need to focus on, for example, billing or password help or shipping info. We are going to pass this data, upload this data, and then train and create the model using curl command, and I'm going to passing it to Einstein API. Then I've also set up some sort of a lightning page and some Apex controller classes to call the Einstein API. This provides more of a user interface where users can interact. You can enter your intent and you can see how the Salesforce Einstein Intent API gives you responses towards it. Okay, so let's start the working demo. We are going to get the token. So I'm on this URL and I have accessed the token, copied the token. The second step that I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the data set. As I mentioned, I'm using the Einstein case routing intent CSV file. This is the file. And I'm using this API call to basically upload this data set. This is my token that I'm passing. So I did upload it. Now, so after uploading the data, if you want to get the status of the upload, you can call this API dataset ID, passing the dataset ID at the very end. Keep in mind the dataset ID when I started the upload process, I got the ID back. So now I can see I got the JSON response back, and if I want to take a look at this JSON response a little bit more closely, I have opened it up into a JSON viewer, and here it is. The response basically tells me that this is the file that I uploaded. It tells me the different labels that were in the file, and overall it looks like there were total 150 examples were there. So very nice JSON based response that you can receive from the system. Okay, so now that our data is uploaded, the next step is to train the model. I'm going to be calling the train API. So this is my training the model, and as you can see right after, this is the API that I called, and I get the result back from the training. The model ID is very important for us to remember to pick it up from here. This is the one that we are going to use in our lightning. Okay, so the training is started on the model. Okay, now that it has been some time, let me try again to check the model, and here you go. Actually the model is trained now, the status is successful. Just to recap, we had been training the model, and this is the training status that is returned currently. Now that the model is trained, now we are going to go to the next round of our setup. We have a model created. First we uploaded the data, then we created the model. Now we are going to use some of the lightning component to actually see how we can leverage all of this backend work that we did so far. So just to recap from the earlier scenario slide that I shared, we did go through step 1 and 2 so far. Now we have a model and the model is up and running. Third step that we are going to go is actually we can continue on this curl command, but I thought it will be a little bit more easier to visualize it. As you can see, just looking at it from the command line tool, it's just not as intuitive. So I'm going to use a Salesforce lightning page I have already set up the Apex controller APIs, Einstein API that's sitting on top of or basically providing a high level functionality call to Einstein underlying API. And so we will go through the setup quickly, and then we will actually try out our intent API using a lightning page. Okay, so now coming to the Salesforce Developer Console, I do have a lightning page, explore model, and also two Apex classes. The Einstein API Apex class, this one is calling the Einstein Intent API. It has some of the additional code to make sure that when I'm calling the Einstein Intent API, passing the appropriate token and making sure that I'm passing the appropriate model. Our UI looks like. So I clicked on the preview. Here is my user interface page. Certainly this is more for a demo over here. Your scenario can be more complex, and mostly it can be more of a back-end integration. On the very top, I'm just showing the model accuracy, where model is very highly model accuracy is pretty high in this case, as you can see, 96%. This is a text box that I'm opening it up for writing down the text that you would like to pass it to the intent API and get the prediction for the appropriate categorization of the user intention. On the real world scenario, this can be more of integrated within the current workflow. So let's get going. Let's try to get some predictions out for some of the text that we had been using to train the model, and some of the new combination of the text. Okay, so let's enter some text for prediction. For example, need a hat to go with my shoes. So if user enter a text something like this, what can be which department we can route this type of user intention? That's what we are trying to predict over here. And in this case, we call of our intent API, and essentially intent API is basically saying that this is basically a sales opportunity, which is rightly so, right? So just to give you an overall view from our original starting point, if we look at our coverage so far, so we did cover 1 and 2 earlier on using the curl. This is the additional user interface that we built using a lightning page. This is where we get the model info. I was just showing it model info at the very top, just the accuracy of the model. And then we allowed user to pass some intent and get some prediction. I hope you like the demo. I know there's a lot behind it. If you are interested and want to see some of the source code, let me know, ping me, and I can certainly make sure that I can pass you the relevant code. Thank you.